My strong boy, you came back to me. His frail voice, raspy with age, cracked under the ancient willow, and in that moment, everything changed. Welcome to a love that bloomed by the old creek. A brilliant black male preschool teacher, a sharp black CEO, and the child who brought them together. But what happens when a man once dismissed by her family becomes the only one her estranged father remembers? Drop your city in the comments. Will love mend the chasm of old wounds, or will judgment win again? Stay with us until the end, because what happens during that tense family dinner will leave you speechless. If you love stories of healing, unexpected family, and the power of quiet kindness, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's dive in. The gurgle of Willow Creek accompanied laughter from Maplewood Preschool. Inside Classroom C, 5-year-old Olivia Hayes sat alone, drawing endless, silent spirals. Julian Thorne, the new preschool teacher, noticed her immediately. His calm presence and forest green sweater spoke of quiet observation. Olivia never looked him directly in the eye. Julian sensed a child waiting for an invitation to rejoin the world. He started small. Each morning he knelt by her table, his voice a soft hum. "Morning, Olivia. I saved you a seat near the science corner." No response, just a flicker in her lashes. He played his guitar softly. She remained silent, but he caught her tiny finger tapping once. 5 weeks in, something shifted. A spring shower canceled outdoor play, so Julian brought out art clay. Olivia sat still, but when Julian molded a winding river, her fingers twitched. He paused. "Can someone help me make a bridge?" Olivia, without warning, drifted to the table and picked up clay. She joined in, molding a perfect arch. The room stilled. Julian simply smiled, letting her lead. For the first time, Olivia looked him in the eyes. It was brief, a flash of brown against his rich, dark gaze, but it was the start. That day, Olivia sat beside Julian during story time, closer than ever. She didn't speak, but her hand reached out to touch the corner of the page first, and he let her turn it. The following week, Olivia drew again, not spirals, but shapes, flowers, birds, a small figure suspiciously like Julian, close-cropped hair, green sweater, and a quiet smile. At lunch, she sat 2 seats closer. During music, she held a maraca. Then, one magical Friday morning, as Julian helped another child, he heard Ita whisper, "Mr. J?" He turned, heart thudding. Olivia was looking at him, mouth barely parted, eyes wide. "Did you say something, sweetheart?" he asked gently. She nodded, then whispered, "Mr. J, can I draw you again?" That night, Julian lay awake. He thought of her voice, small but clear, and her shoulders no longer sagging. This connection felt deeper. He didn't realize that outside, a woman watched too. Serena Vance, Olivia's mother, noticed the change in her daughter's drawings, the light in her eyes. Olivia had told her, "Mr. J, he's like the daddy of my dreams." Serena hadn't known what to say. Julian had unlocked something in Olivia no specialist could. Serena stepped inside. "Miss Vance," Julian greeted. "Is everything all right?" She hesitated. "Yes, Olivia, she's happy. I haven't seen her like this since." Her voice trailed off. Julian nodded. "She's finding her way." Serena studied him, seeing something quietly radiant. "I'd like to thank you properly. Would you have dinner with me tomorrow evening?" He smiled. "Dinner sounds nice." As Serena left, Julian glanced at Olivia's crayon drawing, him, her, and a small house with a creek. He touched the paper. "You're already home." Little did he know that was only the beginning. The modern restaurant on Lake Michigan hummed with soft jazz. Julian's heart pounded as he entered. Serena rose, breathless. "You look remarkable." Julian, shy but grounded, replied, "You clean up well yourself." Their hands brushed, sending a disarmingly safe warmth up his spine. "Thank you," Serena said, "not just for helping my daughter, but for giving her back to me." Julian's heart softened. She just needed someone to listen. Serena's jaw tightened. When Olivia's mother left, I shut down. Nothing worked until you. Julian chose his words carefully. Sometimes the heart doesn't need fixing, it just needs someone to sit with it quietly. Serena raised her wine glass to quiet strength. Julian, intrigued, asked, "Why that?" She smiled, pain behind it. "Because that's what I see. You're not loud, you don't try to impress, but you change things. You changed her, and maybe you've changed me too." Julian held her gaze, startled. He was a man being seen. They talked. Julian shared stories of his childhood in Vermont, raised by his grandfather. Serena listened, thoughtful. "I wish I'd had someone like that growing up." She gave a dry laugh. "Prep school, strict tutors, perfection. My father was demanding, cold. My brother was the only warmth I knew. He passed 15 years ago." Julian's hand, unthinking, reached across the table and touched hers. "Not all of you froze," he said. "Olivia watches you with love. She just needed the bridge." Serena held his hand. "And you're that bridge." He pulled his hand away, but his heart didn't retreat. "She's easy to love, and so are you when you stop guarding your own heart." Serena laughed breathily. "Is that what I'm doing? You tell me." Outside, Serena turned to him. "Julian," she said, "this dinner wasn't just a thank you. I wanted to know you, the man who changed my daughter's life, who makes me believe in second chances." He quietly admitted, "I don't usually do this. I don't get close, not to wealthy women with perfect lives." Serena's mouth twitched. "Perfect?" He nodded. "You have the kind of life people envy, and I have the kind of life people forget." Serena's expression grew serious. "Not me. I see you." His words cracked something open. This was something beginning. In the back seat, Olivia's drawing lay folded. Him, her, a house with a creek. Julian smiled. Maybe home wasn't a place, it was people. The Vance estate, a modern sculpture of glass and angles, stood in the hills north of Chicago. Julian's hands tightened around his grandfather's compass. Serena sat beside him, jaw tight. "He's complicated," she said of her father, Robert. "After my brother passed, something fractured. He never really came back." Julian's stomach tightened. He was nervous about walls built from grief and judgment. Inside, the foyer was museum-like. Robert Vance, stoic in his automated wheelchair, hair silver, ascot neat, his pale blue eyes locked onto Julian. "So," he clipped, "this is the teacher." Julian smiled, extending his hand. Robert did not take it. Serena quickly intervened. "Father, this is Julian Thorne. He's helped Olivia so much." Robert's lips twitched. Helped her or attached himself to her like a leech? His gaze drifted to Julian's dark-skinned hand. "My granddaughter needs discipline, not sentimentality." The insult stung. Julian kept his voice gentle. "Olivia is wonderful. I've only encouraged what was already inside her." Robert turned away. "Serena, may I speak to you alone?" Serena didn't move. "Anything you have to say, you can say in front of him." Robert's eyes narrowed. "Very well," he said coldly. "You've lost your mind bringing someone like him here." Julian didn't flinch. Instead, he placed a jar of homemade blueberry jam on a table beside Robert. "My grandfather's recipe," he said softly. "I thought you might like something familiar." Robert stared at it. "What is that supposed to do? Earn your points?" Julian shook his head. No, just kindness. Robert muttered, You should have brought crackers. Already did. Julian smiled. Robert's voice dropped. You don't belong in this family. You're a diversion, a soft place for Serena to fall, but soft doesn't last. Julian met his eyes. I'm not soft, Mr. Vance. I'm steady. Robert blinked, then wheeled away. Serena exhaled. I'm sorry. Julian shook his head. I didn't come for his approval. I came because Olivia deserves a whole family. Later that evening, Julian returned alone. Robert was at the window. Back again, he said. Julian placed herbal tea and shortbread beside him. This felt more important. Robert turned. Why? Julian took a seat. Because you loved someone once and you lost him. I know what that does to people. Robert's eyes flicked to his. What do you think you know, boy? Julian's voice didn't rise. I know what it's like to scream and no one hears you, to carry grief so long you forget how to hold anything else. Love doesn't knock politely. It just comes in. Robert's hands trembled as he took a bite of jam. No thanks, but no rejection. Serena called next morning. He didn't sleep, but he asked about your grandfather. Julian smiled. It's a start. Julian kept visiting. He brought soup, music. The fortress groaned. The wall was still there, but now there was a crack, a place for light. The secluded garden behind the Vance estate held an ancient willow. Robert hadn't been there in over a year, but Julian had suggested a little air. Robert had agreed. As Julian wheeled him towards the old willow, silence hung between them. Birds sang. This tree is over 100 years old, Julian said. Your grandfather planted it. Robert nodded. My son used to sit under it. Julian knelt. My grandfather had a maple tree. He said, trees remember the people who rest beneath them. They store secrets in their roots. Robert looked down. Then this one must know a lifetime of regret. His voice brittle, cracking. Julian stayed still. Robert's eyes glazed as he stared at the bark. I used to bring my boy here, he whispered. We'd skip stones. He would tell me his dreams. Julian's heart raced. Robert's voice trembled. His name was Elijah. He died in a climbing accident. I never got to say goodbye. A gust of wind. Robert's hand lifted, trying to catch a leaf. I see him sometimes, he murmured. At night, in dreams. I call out, but he never turns back. And then, it happened. Robert blinked, eyes fixed on Julian, lips parted. Elijah, a breath, half hope, half grief. Julian's mouth opened slightly. Mr. Vance, I. But Robert reached for his hand, trembling. You came back, he said, voice cracking. My strong boy, you came back to me. A lump formed in Julian's throat. He didn't pull away. Instead, he wrapped both hands gently around Robert's frail fingers and whispered, I missed you too, Papa. Silence followed. Robert wept, soft, broken sobs. Julian held him. Beneath the ancient tree, pain released. When Robert finally looked up, his eyes were softer. I'm sorry I was so cold, he said. I didn't know how to grieve without pushing everyone away. Julian's voice remained steady. Grief doesn't follow rules, and love doesn't need permission. That night, the estate buzzed. Serena returned, frozen to see her father, calm, sitting beside Julian. What did I miss? She asked. Robert looked up, almost shy. We went to the garden. Julian showed me the old willow. Serena blinked, stunned. Julian gave a small nod. Olivia barreled in with cards. Mr. J, Mama said we could play crazy eights. For the first time, Robert didn't correct her. He opened his palm. Deal me in, sweetheart. They gathered around the coffee table, laughter spilling. Later, after Olivia slept, Julian stepped onto the terrace. Serena joined him. "He thought you were Elijah," she asked gently. Julian nodded. I think he believed it. Serena rested her chin on his shoulder. "And you let him." He turned. "Maybe I did too." She kissed his temple. "You're remarkable, Julian. You don't force your way in. You simply become the calm in the storm." He smiled. Love doesn't break down walls. It finds the cracks and sends in light. The house was becoming a home. The cool morning of the wedding broke with a sky brushed in pale rose gold. Under the willow, draped in hydrangeas and silk, chairs lined the grass. A path of rose petals led to the wooden arch Serena had designed. It was a sanctuary. Robert sat on the front row. Inside, Serena stood before a mirror in her ivory gown. Her thick, dark curls gathered loosely with tiny white flowers. Olivia, in a cream dress, whispered, "You look like a queen." Serena kissed her forehead. "I feel like one because I have you." Robert appeared in the doorway. "May I come in?" he asked. "Of course, Father." Robert wheeled forward. Elijah would have worn something just like his suit. He blinked, realizing his slip. "I mean." Serena knelt. "It's okay. I know you miss him." Robert looked down. "I judged you too harshly, Julian," he whispered, looking past Serena. "I let grief make me cruel, but you never stopped showing up." Julian's eyes widened. Serena looked at her father. "Father, he's not." Robert shook his head, looking directly at Julian. "No, he is. He's the son I always needed. He brought me back." Then to Serena, "Would you mind if we gave him away?" Serena gasped. "You want to?" Robert nodded, a tear tracing his cheek. "He brought my daughter back to me. It would be my honor." Outside, an acoustic "Stand By Me" drifted. Julian stood beneath the arch, anxious. Then he saw it. Robert, being wheeled by Serena, approaching down the aisle, Olivia skipping ahead, giggling, "Papa's coming." Julian froze, heart thudding. When they reached the front, Robert lifted Julian's hand and placed it in Serena's. "Take care of each other," he said, voice thick. "Don't let the world tell you what you are. You already know." He wheeled back, proud. Serena cupped Julian's hands. "You're radiant. You're my home," he whispered back. The officiant declared them husband and wife. Serena pulled Julian into her arms. Their kiss was release, healing. Guests applauded, Olivia yelling, "We're a family now." The reception was in the garden. Fairy lights twinkled. Robert sat, eyes following Julian with affection. He watched him dance with Olivia, then Serena. When the maple cream cake was cut, Robert took a second slice. "Best cake I've had in years," he murmured. "It tastes like home." As night wound down, Serena and Julian stood beneath the tree, hands entwined. "Do you think he truly accepts me?" Julian asked. Serena looked towards the house where Robert sat asleep, Olivia curled beside him. "I think," she said slowly, "that he accepts love, and right now, you are its fiercest form." Julian leaned into her shoulder. "It still feels like a dream." Serena kissed his head. "Then let's not wake up." Guests departed slowly. Olivia stirred, whispering, "Mr." Jay was the prettiest. Julian carried her inside, past the fireplace where Robert's photo of Elijah now rested next to one of him, Serena and Olivia, a new frame, a new family. And under that 100-year-old tree, roots entwined with memory and grace, their legacy had begun.